3 days after I moved into my new home, an SUV from the neighborhood HOA pulled into my driveway. The woman who stepped out didn't introduce herself. She informed me I wasn't supposed to live there. According to her, my house was meant for their future expansion, and she planned to fix that. 3 days after I moved into my new house, an SUV from the neighborhood HOA rolled slowly up my driveway like it already owned the gravel. The woman who stepped out didn't introduce herself. She looked at my porch, my fence line, then at me, and said I wasn't supposed to live there. According to her, my house was meant for their expansion. I bought the hillside place specifically because it was outside the Cedar Ridge HOA. That wasn't an accident. It was the entire point. I'd spent years in neighborhoods where mailbox colors required approval and grass height could trigger a warning letter. When I found this parcel, just beyond the Cedar Ridge boundary line, it felt like oxygen. The listing was clear. The deed was recorded. My realtor printed the plat map and tapped the boundary with his pen. Outside HOA jurisdiction, he said. They can't touch you. So I closed fast. Signed. Wired. Moved in within a week. And 3 days later, Karen arrived. She wore pearls and a pressed blazer like authority was a uniform. Her SUV idled behind her as if it might need to make a quick escape. You can't move in here, she said calmly. I already did, I replied. Can I help you with something? She didn't react to the tone. She walked a slow line along my fence, scanning it like an inspector. This parcel, she said, was designated for Cedar Ridge Phase 3 expansion. There are boundary adjustments under evaluation. By who? The board. The county. It's complicated. It wasn't complicated. It was recorded property. I'm outside your HOA, I said evenly. If there's a legal claim, file it. That's when she shifted tactics. Ownership doesn't exempt you from community liability, she said. Especially when safety is involved. Safety. Liability. Words that don't accuse, but imply. Then she smiled. This won't be simple. She left without raising her voice. 2 days later, my insurance broker called. Your carrier flagged the property for underwriting review, Nina said. They received a third-party risk report alleging an easement dispute. An easement? I asked. There isn't one. They want an inspection within 72 hours. Depending on findings, they could non-renew. That's when I understood. Karen wasn't trying to fine me. She was trying to make my house uninsurable. If insurance lapsed, my mortgage servicer could force place coverage at triple the cost. Financial pressure. Clean. Quiet. Effective. So I stopped reacting emotionally and started building a file. I called the county land records office. Is there any recorded easement crossing my parcel? I asked. The clerk asked for the parcel number, typed for a minute, then said, no recorded easements. Can you email that confirmation? Within the hour, I had it on county letterhead. Exhibit A. I scanned my deed. The survey. Every email. Every voicemail transcript. If this was going to be a systems fight, I'd use systems. A week later, Cedar Ridge hosted a liability awareness meeting. I went. Karen stood at the front beside a management rep and a consultant from a firm called RidgeSafe. We're not targeting anyone, she told the room. We're addressing unregulated boundary parcels that create hazard exposure. She never said my name. But everyone looked at me anyway. 2 days after that, vehicles pulled into my driveway. Karen's SUV. A RidgeSafe van. A pickup truck with 2 men in reflective vests. They stepped out carrying caution tape and metal stakes. We're documenting reported hazards, the consultant said politely. Who authorized you to enter my property? I asked. Karen stepped forward. If you refuse cooperation, your carrier will be notified of noncompliance. Your lender will see a lapse. This becomes expensive. There it was. Not HOA bylaws. Insurance and debt. One of the vest workers started wrapping yellow tape around my fence post. "Stop," I said. "You're trespassing." He hesitated. Looked at Karen. I took out my phone and called the county deputy I'd previously spoken with when things started escalating. "Deputy Morales," I said when he answered, "I have individuals placing signage and tape on my property without permission. I'd like a trespass warning issued." Karen's smile thinned. While we waited, I handed the consultant a single sheet of paper. "County confirmation," I said. "No easement. The report alleging one is false. If misinformation reaches my insurer, I will request a misrepresentation review." He read it carefully. Then my phone rang. "Nina." I put her on speaker. "The carrier has paused the cancellation review," she said. "They found inconsistencies between the third-party report and county records. They're escalating internally." The consultant's posture shifted instantly. "I'm not risking my license," he muttered. "If there's potential misrepresentation, my E&O insurance won't cover this." He turned to his crew. "Pack it up." The tape stopped mid-rap. Deputy Morales arrived minutes later. "Ma'am," he said to Karen, "do you have permission to be on this property?" "We're mitigating a community hazard," she replied. "That wasn't my question." She didn't answer. He looked at me. "Do you want them removed?" "Yes." He turned back to her. "You've been asked to leave private property. Do not return without a court order." The authority she'd been wearing like a jacket slipped off in that moment. She left without another word. 2 nights later, Cedar Ridge held an emergency board meeting. The room was packed. A homeowner stood up. Did the board authorize interference with an insurance policy? Karen began explaining safety protocols. Another resident interrupted. "Show the documentation." Silence followed. Brad, the management rep, avoided eye contact. People weren't nodding anymore. They were calculating. Meetings don't need dramatic votes to shift power. Sometimes all it takes is doubt entering the room. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. Outside, the night was still. The lake beyond the hill reflected nothing but moonlight. No caution tape. No hazard signs. No SUV. Just my house. My porch light cast a steady circle over the gravel. The same gravel her tires had rolled over like it was temporary. Ownership isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It's recorded. Filed. Documented. Karen tried to make my home temporary with paperwork. What she forgot is that paperwork cuts both ways. And when the system finally checked the facts, it didn't recognize her authority. It recognized mine. I shut off the engine and listened to the quiet settle around the house. Not the quiet of avoidance. The quiet of someone who ran out of leverage. And for the first time since that SUV appeared in my driveway, the silence felt permanent.